Hi, and thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me featuring my 2021 luxury beauty makeup favorites. If you'd like to see that, please keep watching. Today we'll be using the items that I mentioned in my luxury beauty makeup favorites of 2021 video. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start with primer. I think I've used this one the most this whole year, the Chantecaille Anti-Pollution Mattifying Cream. And I love this for smoothing over the pores. It helps mattify, especially in the warmer months. So I'm actually gonna open a new one here. So I like to just apply this to the areas where I have pores. Of course, you can apply this all over your face if you want to, but for me, these are just my areas where I like to mattify and blur a little bit more. So as you can see, it did mattify quite nicely. Again, you can use this if you don't like foundation, but you want some mattifying. I think it's a really, really great product. Okay, next up, we'll go in with foundation. I have two here because I want to mix the shades a little bit. I have Chantecaille's Future Skin Cushion in Nude and in Wheat. So these are a little bit harder to see what the shades are, but you can see that Nude has a pinkier tone and Wheat has a warmer tone. Yeah, they look very different in the cushion compared to on the skin. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the Nude using my favorite Shiseido brush. I'm just gonna apply that in the middle. Then I'm gonna take Wheat, which again has a warmer tone. I'm gonna apply that to the exterior and my forehead. I will usually avoid applying foundation to my nose, but this one works just fine. It doesn't emphasize any texture. Okay, as you can see, I almost don't need concealer. That's how high coverage this is while still remaining very, very thin on the face. So it doesn't look like I'm wearing a lot of makeup. So I'm gonna conceal it under the eye first, and then we'll conceal these areas. So Sisley Under Eye Concealer, shade 4. And I always forget, since I have this new concealer brush, I don't need as much concealer. Éclat de Peau concealer brush. Let's go in with the Chantecaille Next Generation Eye Base in medium. Just make sure to apply the lid tightly when you're done because I left it off overnight once and it dried it out slightly. But once I got rid of that drier top layer, it was fine. So if I wanted to, I could go in with more of the Chantecaille Future Skin in Nude and use that as a concealer. That would work really, really well, which it has in the past. But in general, I will go in with the Éclat de Peau concealer. I'm gonna show you how you can use this brush to also help kind of mix colors. I have almond and mocha here. So mocha is cooler, but it's also a little bit deeper. And then we have almond, which I don't use a whole lot of. I will use honey for more warm foundations, and I'll use mocha for more cool foundations. Like this one I consider a cooler foundation in the nude. So I'm taking a little bit of almond and a little bit of the mocha on this brush. So that's really helpful when mixing shades for concealer. You can see how gently you can just apply the concealer, very targeted. And I feel this works really well with any texture on the skin, so it really gets into all of the tiny little places so you get a more even application. So again, just taking a bit of almond and a bit of mocha. And I don't normally do this, but I'm a little bit lighter in the winter, so mocha is definitely deeper for me. Mocha works really well in the summer, so this kind of helps just balance everything out. Now I do like honey when I just go in straight with a concealer. That's closer to my warmer skin tone. Next, we'll go in with our loose powder. I will use loose powder when I want it really perfected, really set well for a while. Éclat de Peau loose powder. Doesn't look like it'll be translucent here, but it is. I'm just taking a powder puff here and getting it into the powder puff, and I'm gonna just roll it onto my skin. I'm just gonna powder right here where I'm most oily prone. just right there. I think it's such a pretty gossamer powder. You can go in with a brush, of course, but for the purpose of adding a loose powder, that's what I like this for. Now for the finishing powder, perfect blur powder, and this is the shade Medium Light. Blurs, perfects. I bet you were wondering what happened to La Prairie. I have it. I just forgot to put it on. I got distracted with trying to find a powder puff. Just brightening right here. Next, we'll go in with brows because we powdered already. Gucci eyebrow pencil, and I have the shade here 04. Going in with the Diorshow Pump and Brow in 002. Actually, this is a newer one I have here. Okay, now I'm so excited to finally get back to this palette. I've tried out so many beautiful eyeshadows this year, but I'm gonna go ahead in with the Tisse Rivoli by Chanel. I think it's such a classic palette, and I know that many of you love this as well. One of my favorite palettes to use this year. And anytime I used it, people would ask me what I was wearing. So we're gonna go in with the Chantecaille Shade and Sweep brush. I'm going to take this color and just sweep that all over the lid. Just has the most beautiful glow about it. Pretty satin finish. Very sophisticated finish and shade. I think will work on so many people. Okay, so we're gonna go in with this color right here, the next deepest shade. I'm going to use that in the crease. I feel like this is a palette that convinced me that putting a shimmery shade in the crease works really well because, I don't know, I think I learned about makeup in the 80s and I always thought a matte color is the only thing you can put in the crease. I think these satiny shades have come so far, even the shimmery shades since the 80s, that you can definitely put something like that in there and it worked really, really well. Just keeping everything nice and cool. And as you can see, I'm kind of cheating this shape a little bit outward like this. I'm gonna take this deepest shade, I'm gonna place that in the corner, the outer corner. I do get the brush on the side here and I just load the brush like that. So it's not just on the end, it's on the whole brush, and then I just lay that on the side right against my eye. So it covers the outer corner as well as gets into the crease. Then I just wiggle it back and forth. Take my 6.5 Ray Morris and just, this is again the one that goes like this, and just sweep. I'm going to take the Sonia G pencil brush and I'm going to take the lightest shade here and go in the inner corner. I'm going to take this initial shade that I started with and run that under the eye. Then I'm going to take this shade and run that, that's the next deepest shade, and take that from the outer to the first half here. So from here to here, I'm applying it. Now I'm going to take the deepest shade and apply it just to the outer corner. I'm going to tightline, probably put that black in the waterline too, mascara. I'll be right back. I went in with the Chantecaille Faux Longest Lash Mascara as well as the black eyeliner. I tightlined with it and I put it in the waterline. So I feel like I used to think that black liner was too deep for the waterline, but I think it's just so pretty. At least this one's really pretty, really soft going on. Nothing tugging or pulling. It's just really easy to use and it stays in place. And then I blended a little bit with some of the blur powder, the Chantecaille Perfect Blur. I took some of this and just a clean brush and I just went over everything like this. And of course I used a bit of the concealer to clean up the corners here. Okay, let's go in with bronzer. We've got the Sisley bronzer, which I love so much. This is the second year, I believe, for the Sisley bronzer. So we're gonna go forehead, Charlotte Tilbury bronzer brush. That's when I feel like things start to really come together, is when I add that bronzer. Let's go ahead now with blush. We're gonna go in with a cream blush, even though I've already powdered. We've got the Victoria Beckham Cheeky Blush Stick in Major. Such a pretty color. And I've got my Éclat de Peau brush, the blush brush. That's one of the things I love most about this blush, is that you can apply it on top of powder and it looks really natural. It doesn't do anything strange in terms of interacting with powder to create a texture. Yeah, I love this one. And I can go all the way up to the front. Since this is a little bit cooler, I'm gonna say the Major, I'm gonna go in with something just slightly warmer. This part of the Éclat de Peau, just the lightest one. And we're going to add that on top. And then it'll be more of a, I mean, this is pretty neutral, but it'll still be quite neutral. You can see how that gives an extra layer of gentle, gentle glow. These Éclat de Peau blushes are amazing. Just carve out a little bit of dimension with this deeper shade. And then let's go in with the Buff and Blur brush again and some of the Perfect Blur powder and do my little perfecting, so stamping here and then just running it around the perimeter like this. So there's the perfected side. Just takes a little bit of that reflective quality down in the front here, leaving it for the center and then buffing out the sides. I'm going to take a little bit of that blush and just run it up here. I'm gonna go in with the Lip Contour Fill by Chantecaille. I'm gonna go in with my Lip Definer by Chantecaille in Natural. And then, this was hard to pick. I actually left this up to like the very last moment to figure out my favorite lip shade because there are so many beautiful ones, and I think that the one that I'm gonna pick here is the most versatile. So that's why I went with this one. I think that's maybe what made this the best out of all of them, is because I can wear it with evening, day, warm, cool. So let me go grab it. It is the lip shade in Spark. All the lip shades were very much in a tie. I was looking at the Hermes. That one's beautiful too. I could have gone with a darker one as well. But I think this is the prettiest neutral shade. Oh yeah, can't forget highlighter. We're gonna go in with the Chantecaille Liquid Lumière in Brilliance. And I'm going to take the same blush brush I just used. I love a liquid type finish on a highlighter, so I thought it made sense to pick one that's actually a liquid highlighter. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm not a highlighter fan, but when I do find one I like, I really love it. It's just a really gentle glow. And we can't forget my favorite fragrance, Baccarat Rouge 540. I just know I love something when I'm willing to travel with this, even though it's a little bit bulkier. I found a way to fit this in my luggage the last couple times we traveled. It's just the most sophisticated fragrance that I think is so versatile. It has a very clean yet grounded scent because there's a little bit of that woodsy note in there. And then it has jasmine, which is one of my very favorite notes, just slightly at the top. It is a very well balanced fragrance. But that is it for the final look. Please let me know if you have any questions. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other. Stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.